year award ceremony for their agents on Friday, and it was really nice to see the culture, but I really like the story of, hey, I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do at my brokerage, so I just created my own thing. And I thought that was really cool. Innovative. And Navi, I don't know how many you got. Everyone has a partner, right? You have a title company you work with, you have a lender. You can't be in this business and not have partners, right? I've partnered with Navi for over 10 years. And originally, they're brand new, but they were originally from a different company. I've worked with all of the people there for over 10 years. And for me, it's like, yeah, they need to be able to handle title and escrow. That's just like going to Starbucks. I need my coffee, right? But it's the add-ons. It's the helping you grow your business. It's the extra data and analytics that they have and the coaching. It's like second to none. And that's why I've never moved from them in over 10 years for partnering, because they always perform. And especially on what we're talking about today, in any market, how many people want more leads? In any market, good market, bad market, I always just want more leads, and I want more leads than I can even handle, because then we get into team building. How do I just help more people, more clients? So I say that it's the mundane is not very sexy. It's those habits that you just continue to do day in and day out. I need to call my database. I need to mail my database. Yeah. There's no real shiny object out there. Otherwise, we all be doing it. If I came up with some master lead generator that you could pay 10 grand and get 100 closings next month, guaranteed 100% conversion, I'd be rich. Everyone would sign up. Yet it's usually the opposite. You get into a transactional, commodity-based, I'm going to do Zillow and pay the competitor, and here I am with crappy 2% conversion leads. Maybe you hit the highlight person ever in Zillow has been 12% conversion. 12%. Of the best of the best. Why would I want to do that when I can do a more traditional model and be relational and convert at 70 to 80%? The challenge is when some agents come brand new in the market, they're like, man, I don't have anybody to call right now. Or if we all had to uplift from here and go to a different market that we didn't know anybody, didn't grow up in, didn't have a sphere, what would your business model look like? I might have to buy some leads just to get going. I need to get some contacts. But all the while, I'm still going to work on my relationship business that we're going to talk about today. So my background, I started in mortgages in 2005. So I've seen the really bad crash and then a couple little blips in the market and then now. And I got the opportunity to mentor under a top producer. I was actually a trainer down the street at the Villages at Gainey Ranch. Opened the place, trained martial arts, but I was capped with how much money I could make. I now get into a business, just like in real estate, it's uncapped potential with how much money you want to make. It's just how many more people can you get in touch with to convert to do business with you? And then how big do you want to build your team? Because one person can only do so much. There's a capacity curve to every person. And if you want to do more, you'd have to leverage another person. It's another class. We talk about leverage and we talk about people and delegation. But that comes to the discussion of, well, how many leads can you even handle that it makes sense to run that business model? And I always start with, how many of you did a business plan for 2023? Raise your hand. Cool, so more than half the room, that's great. I always think the business plan has to start with, how much do you want to make? How much do you make per deal? So how many deals do you even need to do? But then based off your previous conversion, how many leads do you need to bring in? How many contacts do you even need to make to convert to have that many closings, to average that much in commission, to then get that income goal? So it's a very easy calculation that you can figure out of, man, let me back into just the raw numbers of how many leads do I even need in a given month? How many of you track your leads? Track them. I got 3 leads yesterday. I got 15 last month. So not a lot. So I would start, the nice part about the new year is you can start it fresh right now. So you can go back and say, man, how many people did I inquired, buyer or seller, leads this year so far? And then start today and move forward. And you can put it in Excel. If you have a CRM, it's pretty easy to export and pull out. But it's people that when I worked out at the gym, I was the number 1 trainer for month after month after month. And I wasn't like an awesome trainer, right? I could count, I could put you on the machine, right? The difference was when people came into me I would hand them a blank journal and say, hey, when you're not with me, I need you to write down what you ate and how much you worked out. Because when I calculated the time of them training with me 2 times or 3 times a week, depending on which programs I had them on, I had them 2% of their waking hours. So 98% of the time, they weren't with me. And so I was like, well, I have no control of that. So I needed accountability. They had to track. And the ones that tracked and would come with their little journal every time, and it was hard. It took them a few sessions to finally figure out, oh, Greg really wants me to bring this journal with me every time. So I could look at it and go, dude, you ate a cookie? You ate pasta, you ate, pancake, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But after I'd make some adjustments, they would get mad results. And what would happen when they get results? They would renew their packages with me, and they would refer me friends and family. And they were literally mobile billboards for me. Just like no different, any of your clients that have gotten into real estate, I don't know, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we've only been on an uptrend. So all those people are benefiting, and they're literally your billboard. Hey, Mike, how much equity you got in your house that we closed on 3 years ago? Awesome. Do you know anybody else that wants to invest in real estate? The best time to have bought is 5 years ago. So the next best time is right now. Do you have anyone I should talk to? Cool. Like, you're my billboard, just like it was in personal training. So it's always tracking your numbers, and that's some of the stuff we'll go through today. So let me see if this little guy will work. So we talked a little bit about transactional relationship. Like, how many of you want a relationship-based business? Everybody? Cool. Transactional is I get done with the deal, work with the closing table, and I go, hey, here's your keys. Or I don't even show up. And the escrow person goes, oh, Hannah wanted me to give you your keys. Congratulations. And then that's it. And you're just on to the next deal. It's no different than me. I just fund the loan. Maybe I call, maybe I don't. But then I never call after that. Maybe I put them in my eternal CRM that just drips on them in an email that they probably don't. It averages 23% open rate. They're probably not going to get it, right? That's transactional. Relational is you're at the closing table. Hey, congratulations, I'm super excited. Here, I got you a little package. It's actually all the things you want. You want it dairy-free, here's your thing. Like it's catered to them, it's an experience. And then what happens 3 days later? Hey, now the dust settles, how did we do? How's everything going? How'd the move go? Hey, did you ding up the house anything? I'm gonna send my handyman over, and he's gonna work for 2 hours on me. Okay? What's a good day for him to come by? That's relational. 30 days later, how many boxes you got left in the garage? Hey, how's it going? Right? 6 months later, they're getting stuff in the mail. Today we're gonna talk about what are the systems to put in place for you to run a predictable model of repeat and referral business. I know for sure if you do just those things alone, you're gonna increase your referrals, they're gonna come back to you. But if you continue to do some of the other stuff we're gonna talk about, there's even more to come. Because ultimately a relationship-based business for me is that Michael, we close, and then 3 years later he calls me up, he goes, dude, I'm ready to buy another one. Buying a second home. Do you know when in Vegas, I wanna buy a house there. I want a condo, I'm going there a lot. It needs to be by the IV bar. Or, hey Greg, I'm looking to sell my house and I'm gonna buy another one. So I want them to come back to me, so that's number one. But number two is, as I'm checking in with them, I want them to refer me people along the way. That's how you just gain momentum with literally you and your brand. That's how they come back to me, and that's how they send me their friends and family. It's an experience, but I have to stay in touch with them along the way. And so that's relational. We've talked about tracking and measuring. This is the only way for me that you can be efficient and use what I say economy of scale. Meaning you're building a business that you want to grow, but I don't need to be working 100 hours a week. And for some of us, for me, it's like I have family. Some of you, it's like, well, I just don't want to work that many hours. I want to travel. I have other goals in life. Like real estate and mortgage for me, because you can make so much money, it literally should be the vehicle that just allows you to do other stuff. Like invest in more real estate, multifamily, whatever you want, travel. It's just a vehicle to go do the other stuff, right? And as you leverage teams and things like that, it allows you to free up even more time. But that starts with having systems and processes. I'm teaching a class. I coach for a national coaching company. It's called The Core Training. Been coaching for them. I started coaching with them in 2009. They asked me to start working for them in 2014. So I'm in my 9th year of coaching for them. Travel the country, I train lenders and realtors, and it's mainly on what we're talking about today. Here's the systems, here's the checklist, here's the job description. Like, could you imagine if any of us went to go buy a Chick-fil-A right now, right? We're gonna buy a Chick-fil-A. There is a manual like this thick that says, here's the uniform, here's the characteristics of the ideal employee, here's the person that should be doing the buns, here's the checklist for the fries. Like, there's literally a checklist and a formula for everything already put forward that says, here you go. And then they have people that come in and figure out the real estate and where are we gonna go, and because they've made those mistakes by building other places. But now they have the correct model. That's why when you go to build a brand new model, I can cut out all the fluff and make it super lean and efficient. That's no different than our business. Like, I'm Greg Gale operating within Nova Home Loans. I need my team to have even more efficiencies to work within the parameters of my company. That make sense? Okay, so we'll talk about some of the tools of tracking and measuring and some of the things. But do you have systems in place like today? You meet another agent in the room. Do you follow up with them? You should. It's a small world here, right? What do I do with Jackie's business card? Well, it's got to go somewhere. It needs to go in. Like, is there a system for it though? I'm going to put it into my CRM. I'm going to put it in my phone. Here comes the handwritten note. Like, what is the next step to that contact? What about an open house? Do you have a system for your open house? When people come in, there should be a system for how you navigate the open house. Hey, go check out the master and let me know what you think about the shower. You're giving them an assignment. That's like a thing, right? But you have a checklist of stuff. But what does it look like from a lead gen point of view of what do I do afterwards? Well, I hope that there's a phone call, right? Like, hey, thanks for coming to open house. But I want to somehow capture their information, right? So do I have their name? Do I have their address? Do I have their email? Do I have their phone number? How do I get that information? Where is that going to go? And then what are the steps that you want after? Is it a video, email? Is it a text message? I love getting people's cell phone numbers. It's the number one thing. You also need to grow an email list. And even though emails get blocked a lot, I want both. But emails I can set in a system that drip on them. You can retarget through social media, but I need the cell phone too, because that's the number one way to communicate with people. The emails sometimes they go to spam. I mean, one of my top agents sent me something Friday. I talked to him today and I'm like, hey man, can you send me that thing? He's like, dude, I sent it Friday. I'm like, I didn't get it. I'm looking through my emails. I see the email that he sent it, went to my wife's Gmail account, she didn't get it. I'm like, huh, that's weird. But if he had simply texted me, hey man, just sent you that, let me know you got it, then I would have known right away. That needs to be part of his new system. How many of you, when you send an offer in on a listing, you're representing the buyer, call the agent before, let them know it's coming, or text them, and then text them after you send it to them, did you get it? How many? Cool, that's awesome.
Before you send it.
But how many times did you get burned before you then put that system in place? That's what we're talking about. And then if you write all these out, this helps me to then, when I hire the assistant, the partner, whatever, I can say, hey, I need you to do these 5 things off the checklist, right? And I know it seems like a lot of work, but if you wrote out, what is your open house follow-up? What is your follow-up after you close a deal? And then I can figure out, man, what do I want that customer experience to look like? Or if you're in marketing, they call it a journey. What do you want the customer's journey to look like? Like, we were in a class, a mastermind 2 weeks ago. And the guy's like, I have a 3-step gifting process when someone refers me a deal. So past client calls me up and says, hey Greg, I want you to, or yesterday I had one and said, I need to help my sister in Colorado. You licensed there? I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, the person that referred the sister, I now send them a handwritten note, Starbucks card, thank you. A few weeks later, hey, we just got the loan approved, here's some brownies. 3 weeks later, here's a card to your favorite restaurant we just closed on your sister. Like, have a 3-step, he had a 3-step process to handling the referrals. How many more referrals is he gonna get from the referrer? Because I always say you reward the action and the behavior, not the result, right? So if I waited for it to close, hey, thanks for sending your sister 3 months ago. Oh yeah, oh that's right. Yeah, she was saying that. Yeah, thanks, you're welcome. But how about all along the way, that 3 months, he wasn't even thinking of me, But if I said, hey, here's the Starbucks card, here's some extra brownies, here's the popcorn, right? Having a process, but it's a written process, it's put in place for that thing. Imagine just having a playbook for your business. When I get referred a client, these things happen. When I close a deal, these things happen. During the process of a regular loan, we have movie tickets that go out, Starbucks cards that go out, lottery scratchers that go out, like all throughout the loan process. And then even after, we just sent out our closing disclosures from all of last year. So we took the closing disclosures of every loan we closed last year. We printed them all out. We put them in big envelopes, labeled them, confidential, sent them all to our clients. Why? They all got them. They all have digital copies from the title company. I just wanted another touch. There's a note right on top. Hey, if you need a referral to a CPA, let me know. You're gonna need this for your tax documents. Oh, thanks. It's just another touch for me. And then my admin Talia, she was calling them. She finished the list this morning. They sent me a thing and said, we called to confirm that everyone got their package. That's, for some of those people, it's literally been a year, right? Now, throughout the year, they've gotten other stuff. And I'll show you some of the systems we have in place. But today is a day to give you some ideas of how to build your systems, your processes. And this is all based off our core modeling. So we talked about, who are you actually marketing to? Well, obviously it's your past clients, your current clients that you have transactions with, or that you have signed broker agreements, or that went on the listing appointment, but you just haven't landed it yet, right? Like they're hot pre-quals. Business partners, how many of you use a CPA for your taxes? Raise your hand. Cool, keep your hand up if they refer you business. Seems weird, right? Like I pay thousands of dollars to my CPA, but he doesn't send me a deal. Now, remember, I don't hold it against them. I take 100% responsibility when my guy Bill wasn't sending me deals until I asked Bill, I said, hey dude, how many people do you do taxes for? He's like, about 180. I'm like, do any of them need mortgage stuff? Like refi or anything? He's like, probably. Oh, yeah. I'm like, but they're no disrespect, but they're like bean counters, right? Like that's their nickname, right? They're made to do math. They're not marketers. Any of you leave a restaurant or the hair salon, like you're just thinking, how do I refer those people? That's not what my CPA thinks when he's doing my taxes. He's just like, here, Greg, you're getting that much back. Or, hey, Greg, write a check for that much. That's all he's thinking about, and he's on to the next. He's transactional, and he's just a math guy, right? Non-emotional. I need him to get a little emotional. Hey, man, if I need someone else to do my taxes, I can move my stuff to somebody else, but I really like you. We've worked together for 20 years. But my bad for not asking you for referrals. Now, you're about to go into hibernation for a couple months, and then I know you jump to Hawaii every single year after you file taxes on April 16th, I think it is this year. So before you do, can you keep me top of mind? And if you need anybody's looking to buy a house, or you tell someone they should go buy some rental properties to accelerate the depreciation or whatever you tell them in your tax lingo, can you send them my way? Yeah, dude, I got you. Okay, cool. I want to keep using you. Like that can be a call. How many of you have a financial planner? Schwab, Merrill Lynch, Northwestern, anyone have a financial planner? Okay. Do you get deals off the financial planner? Like they manage people's money. Right? Now look, they might not be like, well, I don't want them to, take it out of there and put it over there. Yeah, dude, but if they're making money in real estate, they're cash flowing on those properties, they're going to take that money and put it somewhere else, like with you. So maybe there's something there. Or people go to their financial planner and say, hey, little Johnny and Susie, they're going to graduate and they're going to leave the house. We're going to downsize now. Now a normal financial planner is going to go, okay, well, when you do, like, let's just see what we're going to do with that cash. And probably just put it in under management with me so I can make more money on my fees. And that's what they're thinking. They're not thinking, oh, let me get you in touch with a great realtor so you don't get screwed. They don't really care, right? Divorce attorneys. Anyone work with divorce attorneys? Like the guy I ended up working with, he goes, I started working with them, and it was because Wells Fargo was denying people's loans because they needed 12 months payout of the spousal support before they would use the income. Well, guidelines are actually 3 months or 6 months, depending on the loan program. So his clients were having to wait double or quadruple the time to get a house until I got a hold of him and I said, no, dude, that's wrong. And he's like, what? He gave me 9 referrals that day in his office. 9. So when I say business partners, and I'm not saying go after all those referral sources, I'm just giving you ideas of, wow, there's some opportunities of, I call them influencers now, like that CPA, your CPA, a great question to your CPA is, hey, how many people's tax returns are you about to start doing? 100, 80, 180, 50, I don't know. But it's definitely not one referral that guy could give me. There's a lot in there, a lot. And so if I can be the one that's the trusted referral source, the trusted partner, the one that, just taking him out for coffee and picking his brain on tax advice. Cool. Hey, what's the ideal referral for you? Awesome. I'll get you more people. I've been doing a bad job of it. I'm going to call all my closings from last year and ask them if they need anybody, and I'll send them to you. Does that sound good? Are you taking on new business? Like, would that be an easy call to make to your CPA right now? How many clients do you have? 100. Do you want any more? What do you mean? Are you taking on any more clients? Yeah? Cool. Can we grab a cup of coffee? I'll buy. I just want to find out what an ideal referral is for you so I can send you my clients. I'm going to call my past clients. I'm going to give them their CD from the closing to taxable event, and I'll ask them if they have anyone, and if they don't, I'll tee it up to you. How's that sound? That sounds great. Cool. When do you want to grab a cup of coffee? And then what's going to happen? I would hope from the law of reciprocity, he's then going to want to give me deals. That's a free referral except for a cup of coffee. But those referrals convert at a very high level because they trust their CPA. They trust their financial planner, right? So, I could probably work with 2 or 3 financial planners because I can't refer them all a ton of deals. But even if you gave them 2 or 3 at-bats a year, they'd be grateful and they'll send you maybe multiple referrals on their end. So that's what to think about. And then what is the process then to go over and use them? Now here's the system. Mail, call, visit, email. Mail, call, visit, email. So I'll take you through. It's very simple. And again, if you have, there's a lot of online services now. Like some brokerages have it internally. Most you could just go to like a Fiverr.com or some internal graphics designer that can design me something, and I'll show you some of the pieces we have. But it's not complicated. It's just a matter of putting the processes in place because you want it to just become a habit. So that every month the mailer goes out. Every week you're making this set of phone calls, and we'll go through this today. I say the 5th one because this is new. So back 9 years ago when we started coaching, it was just mail, call, visit, email, mail, call, visit, email. But now everyone's on social. Why would I not take my database and put it in, and this isn't that class, but we've hosted them and we'll have more, where I can take everyone's email, name, phone number, and create an audience in Facebook and Instagram so that all my clients are just seeing my posts. They see my videos, they see my stuff. That way, again, I'm just top of mind. So now they're gonna see stuff in the mailbox, they're gonna get phone calls, they're getting invited to my client events, and then they're also seeing my stuff on social media. They're also gonna get dripped on with our email stuff. So it's a barrage of stuff, but am I increasing the likelihood that they're gonna come back to use me? 100%. Am I increasing the likelihood of getting referrals? Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the time management class. Just kidding. Grab some food if you want on the way by there on your left. So, am I using all the artillery that I have, right? I always think in communication, you never rely on one form of communication, right? Because we could take a poll and people will say, well, texting is the best. Great, but texting isn't 100%. Well, email's good. Okay, email's good, but it's definitely not 100%, right? The highest open rate I have on a CRM is 84%. I just think that's good. Where's the 16%? How do I get them? Well, then maybe they're opening my mail. Maybe they're getting my voicemail. Maybe they're getting the invite to my event. Maybe they're seeing me on social. I just need somehow the 100% get some sort of touch and get one way of communication. Okay. So first, how many do not have a CRM? You can put it up really high. It's me, I'm the one. Well, you're the brave one because I guarantee there's someone else in here that doesn't have one. Okay, I'm not gonna call on everybody, but what's the most popular CRM?
Perfect Storm.
Perfect Storm's good. Mike, what do you guys use?
Wise Agent.
Wise Agent's good.
Wise Agent.
Wise Agent.
KV Core.
KV Core.
Active Campaign.
Okay. The best one is the one that you use. Okay. Now look, Follow Up Boss is good. Boomtown's good, but super expensive. Great for teams. Like they're all good when they're used. I like just something that's simple and usable. I like dashboards. Open it up and it says, this is whose birthdays are today. Great, I'll call all those people and wish them happy birthday. Like it's simple. I need simple. But the CRM is where you put everyone's information, right? Where I can sort and say, whose birthday is today? Click. Whose 1 year anniversary, house anniversary is today? Click. Whose spouse's birthday is today? That's a pretty fun call. Kid's birthday? How many have kids? Cool. So if I sent a card to you, saying the ice cream card that's addressed to your kid and says, hey man, take your kid out for ice cream from me, happy birthday. Would that mean a lot? More than me giving it to you, no, not if they don't like dairy. But, right. But would it even mean more if I knew what they were into and I got them something specific for that? Even better, right? Like how high do you want to take this? Just the call or the text alone.
For like birthdays and stuff, are you always sending something that's like personally handwritten and like a gift card? Or are you talking also sending emails?
So it depends, and it depends on a budget and how many people you have. So I've done over 6,000 deals, and so I can't do that.
Yeah.
So for me, I have a top 100 list that get the handwritten birthday cards, because it's not that many when you look at it that way. Plus I have my referral partners that are getting gifts. I use a system called EvaBot, which is like it's an AI where it shoots you a text and says, hey, like happy birthday. It's me saying the happy birthday, right? But then they go on there and they literally click, I like coffee, I like wine, I like music, I like the theater, I like whatever. And it customizes a gift package for them. And I just set the price point. And so I know that I'm gonna spend 30, 40, 50, like whatever the numbers I set it at. And then it customizes the gift to them.
So a reason that I don't use the CRM, and I've tried a few CRMs, is because I don't feel like they're authentic to me. Because I hate a million spam emails and texts and phone calls.
Yeah.
And I know that that's like kind of part of our business, but I hate them. So if I hate them, why am I going to do it to someone else? Yeah. And I'll get 50 emails on my birthday that are from anything I've ever put my birthday into. Right. But I don't feel like that's authentic. I 100% agree. Like, what if it was my house anniversaries? I keep an Excel sheet of them, and I send out cards on house anniversaries. And everyone who's bought a house that year, I send a card and an ornament, and like, I mean, I do things like that, but I don't keep a CRM because I don't like that. Yeah, well, as long as you have the data somewhere, because it doesn't have to be that, like mine doesn't send an automated email. Mine alerts me that it's their birthday. But I'm wondering if when you send those out, if you're really getting a return on them, like people feel like you authentically remembered their birthday, or they're feeling like they're just getting spam with the 50 million other emails they're getting. Well, yeah, true. Yeah, well, mine's a text, so I text it. And so then they know it's me. And, you know, depending on the level, it's a call, right? But it depends. You can actually put a video in there, so I can be like, hey, happy birthday, Brittany. So you're actually texting from your personal phone, or are you sending it from your CRM? Yeah, no, fun. Yeah. Well, so the CRM is a place of data collection and data sorting, right? So you're setting up the reminders for yourself, but you're following through your own cell phone. Happy birthday, Brittany, another year around the sun. That was me, because my kids went to Montessori school and they always did the Around the Sun song with them. Wishing you all the best the coming year. Please accept this link. And then there's her thing. And then I can go back, because her husband, I did that for 2 weeks ago. And he was like, dude, this is cool. And I was like, you think it's cool? Wait till you get the gift. Let me know. And then I like that idea, because it's like personal. It has their name in it. Yeah, Eva, EVA, bot. EvaBot. Yes, like, but at the same time too, with 6,000, there's definitely automated emails that go out through my system that are not me, that some people are going to go delete, some people are going to go opt out, and some people are going, great thought about me. Oh, I do like, look, I personally don't like the cards that say like pumpkin spice or chocolate cake recipe, right? But I guarantee there's at least one of your clients that goes, oh my gosh, I'm going to try that chocolate cake recipe. And you're top of mind.
I was just going to say the sorting, which I think is important for context, is the sorting of your top 100, your top 1,000, whatever it is for you. Can you talk to the group a little bit about what gets them in that category? Because I think it's really important. Yeah, and so for me, it might be different for you. But again, I've been doing this for 18 years now. So I have so many, I had to figure out like, what does that filter look like? So for me, it was who's done multiple transactions with me and who's referred me at least one time.
And there was an easy filter for me to go, let's see how many that is first. And if it was 10, I would have to open my criteria a little more. If it was 500, I'd have to say, am I okay to the 500, or do I need to shrink it even more? Like, who's come back to me twice? Who's referred me more than 5 times? So you can play with your filter.
It helps you manage a budget too, right?
Correct.
There's only so much for the extra gifts that you're going to get.
Yeah, and in our, and you speak well to this, but in our P&L class, it's what does the budget even look like for your like you need to have a marketing budget. And part of that is this, what we're talking about. Like, man, what am I going to spend on those gifts? I don't know what your budget is. I also don't know how many you're spending every month. I have it like per loan, it's $67. And that's the popcorn, that's the movie tickets, that's the dollar scratcher, that's the postage, that's the closing booklet. Like, I've compressed it down to be under $70 per loan that I can send out for gifts and do the follow-ups afterwards. So that's, to your point, what do I want that to look like? And then what's the cost gonna be involved in that? And as I built out my systems for follow-up and such, it was like, so if I could get another 2 deals a month off of that, and I'm gonna net that much money from it, could I hire someone to do that full time and actually get even more deals from it? And that's where my leverage comes in of the people. Then it was, how do I find the right people? Because all I needed was the who, because I already had the what and the how written out. Exactly what to do, exactly what to say, exactly where to get the data, how I was doing it. All I needed was the right person to go, here, will you just do this for me? Because I'm doing it for like 4 hours a week, getting 2 deals a month. If you did it for 40 hours a week, that should be 20 deals a month, right? Okay. Other stuff, and I don't know, different CRMs work differently, but if you knew the area that all your people were in. Like, I have a TBD, when we do pre-quals, I know the area of town they're looking in. And so when like off-market properties pull up, or if I'm walking into a new build site, I can walk into a builder and say, look, I got 15 people pre-qualified for around your price point looking in your zip code. Now, if I send them to you, you're gonna send them to Pulte Mortgage, and they're gonna get high rates and high fees, and you're gonna bait and switch them with some $10,000 concessions. How about we work a deal that I bring them to you, and there's none of that, but it's only the deals that I bring you. Would you do that if I could bring you 15 paying clients right now? Like, that's a negotiation, but it was all because I had the data somewhere. I could pull the stuff. Okay, and you guys run across way more opportunities than I even do. Now, when we talk about mailing, there's 2 parts of the brain, right? You've heard this before, the analytic and the creative. So you never know when the piece is coming in the mail to your client, like, who's getting it? Is it the analytic person, or is it the emotional person? And so we do 2 different mail outs. Now, this is budget. Do I send both in the same month? Do I go every other month? Do I go once a quarter? Somehow there needs to be hard snail mail going into the mailbox. Now, my first one, is the letter of the heart. Now, the letter of the heart's the one that I get the highest open rate on, meaning open rate, like I get the most calls, text messages on. So this was bucket list. I actually took my top 100 and sent luggage tags with them as well, branded, along with that letter of a bucket list, and just talked about, many years ago, my wife and I wanted to go to Greece and Italy. We got turned down during COVID, and then now the kids are a little older. It made it a great trip. We went last summer. It was a bucket list trip. What's that?
I'm doing that this fall.
It was awesome.
Was it?
But I had so many people texting me, oh my gosh, I went there. Did you go to the Trevi Fountain? I had people going, oh, I want to go there. Where'd you go? How'd you do it? How did you hit so many places? Oh, you did a cruise. Like, it just opens up the dialogue, but it takes it back from, I can only call Greg when it's a loan question, if I should refinance, or when I want to buy another property. It was, oh, I can connect with Greg personally. And even if they don't pick up the phone and call me, the next time we talk, they're like, hey, didn't you go to Italy or something? Now we have something in common. So there's the more emotional side of the letter. Now, I do these quarterly, because to do a full 8.5 by 11, fold it up, shove it in an envelope, mail it, stamp it, it gets expensive. Not like my next one, which is the postcard. Postcards are cheaper. So I do these every single month. This one, as you see in my hand, is the Shamrock, so that's going out for March. We have a mail house in Phoenix. It's actually Navi had sent them to me, called the Project Center. I send them an Excel spreadsheet and this in a PDF, and they label it, stamp it, and send it out. They do the same for my envelopes on the other ones too. So I don't fold and stuff and do all that. It's just expensive. So I'm like, well, I'll just send the evidence of success, which is literally a testimonial. And you can hand pick your testimonial. Now, how many of you get testimonials on all your deals? 1, 2. Cool. Not cool. It's cool because now you've learned you need to definitely do that. Like, I definitely need to get referrals now, or get reviews, because reviews will drive referrals. Now, an easy one is Google My Business. Google My Business is free. It'll probably take you 30 minutes, less than an hour to set up the Google My Business page. And when you do, you will then have the review link that you can then just set out to all your clients and say, hey, I just sent out a Google My Business page. Can you do me a super huge favor? You're a client of mine. I appreciate you working with me. A lot of people trust reviews. Would love to get a real, authentic review from you. And then send them the link. Get a couple. Offer them. When I first launched it, I offered like Starbucks cards and stuff to get people to do reviews. Hey, and for your time, I'll send you a $10 Starbucks card. Really appreciate it. And then when they would I'd get the review, I would send them the note, and then I would call them. Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate the review. How's the house? What's going on? That's cool. Do you know anybody else? Can you refer me one person this year that's looking to buy or sell a house? Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks for looking out for me. I'm programming them. It's an opportunity. But set up the review page. Then as you're getting the reviews, you're then able to go, oh, that was a really good one. And then I cut and paste it and I put it right in there. And you're just stacking these things up. Okay. We were in a mastermind last week and the guy bought a domain. It was like review, like WWT, which is his team initials. Waldner Winters team. So he bought that domain and it points to his Google My Business page. So it was even easier to say, hey, review galeteam.com. And then it just points to my Google page. So it made it even easier, removing the friction to get the client to actually do it, rather than click here, tap there, then click the 5-star, then write the review and submit. It's a little easier. So I like that. But the point is, capture the reviews so you can repurpose the content. Could I also take a picture of someone's review and then send that on any of the social media? And then people know, hey, I'm still in real estate, right? And then I'm doing a pretty good job. And if I keep posting that, we do a thing called Testimonial Tuesday. So we'll just post testimonials on Tuesday because we've stocked up so many. So as you keep stocking these up, now could I grab a testimonial from last year? Sure. As long as it doesn't say, Craig helped me in 1992. Like, that doesn't work, okay? But no one ever says that. Okay. So that's the mail. Talking about the calls. Now, again, people will say, yeah, I talk to my clients all the time. Yeah, but not all of them all the time. It's impossible. But what if you had a system in place to know that at the end of the year, you're like, man, I for sure hit them 4 times minimum. Some of them I talk to more than others, but for sure everyone got a call or a voicemail from me throughout the year. So if you take, how many weeks are there in a year? Yell it out. 52. Cool. I'll turn the lights back on if you want. Okay, you have 52. You have 26 letters in the alphabet. So if I call everyone the first week of January with the last name that starts with A, Mr. Applebaum, Mr. whoever, Mrs. whoever, that starts with A, hey, how's it going? Happy New Year. How's everything going? What'd you do for the holidays? How'd you do the holidays in that new house I put you in? Hey, I know it's been like 4 years, but how's everything? Anything new with the house? Any goals this year? Cool, whatever. I'm just touching base with them. Then the next week, I call everyone's last name B, C, just keep going. By the end of June, you've gone through all 26 letters. You've hit them all. Now maybe you hit 2 in a week because there's not a lot of Z's and W's. Maybe there's a lot of S's, so it took you 2 weeks. Somehow you got through the whole alphabet, and then what happens the 4th of July week? I'm calling Mr. Applebaum again. Hey man, happy 4th of July week. How's it going? Been a while, been like 6 months. This is where the CRM comes in handy, or your Excel spreadsheet that says, hey, little Johnny was in the baseball tournament in February. You're like, hey, how did that baseball tournament go? It was in February, right? Oh yeah, he did it. Yeah, we still have the trophy. Oh, cool. Whatever. I'm just picking up the conversation. I'm relational, right? I just keep it going. Hey, what's happening with the kids? They doing baseball camp? Oh, that's cool. Are you doing that same trip you did last year? Whatever. I'm just picking up the conversation. But if I do that, now I've touched them twice. If I hit them on their birthday, again, you could text them. I'm just touching throughout the year. I like the phone calls. Hey, but you didn't think you were going to hear from your lender on your birthday. Happy birthday. Do anything special today? Awesome. Another year around the sun. Cool. Same thing. And then on their house anniversary. Now what we do is we mail a letter. I like how that's misspelled too. We'll fix that. We mail a letter the last week of the month, so right now, for February, and we go back to 2017, and I get everybody that closed in February, going back the last 5 years, and they all get a letter. Happy house anniversary, super excited. Hey, we're gonna call you to do a quick mortgage checkup. If you'd like to reach out to us in the meantime, feel free. Otherwise, expect a call from me and the team. So the letter goes out in the mail, hard mailed to them, so I'm getting another mailing. And then the phone call comes about 10 days later, because we figured the mail will hit by then. And if they haven't called us by then, we reach out to them. And there's not like a super huge amount. I mean, for us, there's anywhere from 10 to 30. Most loans we ever did during COVID was like 40 something. But normal business for us is like in the 20s. Wintertime is usually a little less. So I'll call. So if you take though over the 4 years, we could make like 50 calls. It's not a lot. But if you knew you could call 5, 10, 15, 20 of your past clients from all those Februarys, hey, happy house anniversary. It doesn't have to be on the day. Hey, just checking in. Did you get my letter in the mail? Cool. How's everything with the house? It's great. Hey, I pulled a quick CMA. Looks like you got this much money. Like whatever. I know you're not looking to sell, but if anything changes, let me know. It's just another touch, right? But if you put that system into place alone, and other than the mailing, it's free, right? We're just picking up the phone and calling them all. Would that for sure solidify my relationship with them? That I'm in relationship, that I'm trying to be in relationship and not be transactional? For sure. And it's the free one. Like the mailing one's like, man, it's just a lot. It could be. But again, think about the repeat and referral business that's going to come from all those. And I don't know if it was the phone calls or the card in the mail or the random email that they got that they're like, oh, I'm going to call Greg. I need to refinance. There's another deal. Hey, I'm going to call Greg because we're going to buy that second home now. There's another deal. Hey, I'm going to call Greg. My sister needs to buy a house. I don't know if he's licensed in Colorado. I just need to be top of mind. And I just don't know which one's working. But I just know that's the cheapest one. The key to this one, and we'll talk a little bit more later about is time blocking. Making sure it's in your calendar to do it. Like for me, it's every Thursday, there's a 2-hour block that says past clients. And I just know which letter I'm on because we started at the beginning of the year. You could easily catch up right now if you pulled your Excel spreadsheet, sort by last name, and grab A, B, C, and D. You can finish out January. Get caught up and then just start. And I guarantee it's less than 2 hours. And if you blocked out that time, let's say something comes up, like, I gotta go on a listening appointment. Okay, you can replace that time. You can never erase the time. So I just move it down. I move it over to Friday. Doesn't matter. It just needs to get done. So I know that for sure I've hit those metrics. That way at the end of the year, you're looking down going, I called them all 4 times, even if it was a voicemail. And then add on all those other touches that we've done with the mailing, and now we'll get to the events and stuff. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this formula Ford. It's a real easy one. A lot of times people get stuck on like, man, what am I going to say to them? Like we don't call them a lot. So I'm always asking about the house because that's what we're in relationship even about, right? But I do like to say like, hey, what's been happening? What's going on with the fam? And then I stop and then I wait for them to say something to me. Cool. And then if you have your notes from the last call, you can pick it up. Hey, how's the kids? Going into high school now? Man, I'm struggling with where to put my kid in high school. What are you doing? Like share some pain, get connected with them, whatever. How's your job? We just had a call today. Hey, I got a ridiculous job offer to move to Oklahoma. I don't know if anyone's from Oklahoma, so no offense, but I'm like, dude, it had to be ridiculous for you to move from Scottsdale to Oklahoma, but okay. Although the houses there are like $400,000 for a McMansion, like 6,000 square foot pillars that you can't put your arms around, land. I'm like, wow, maybe I want to sling loans I can work remote. Anyways, they called us. Hey, do you know anybody in Oklahoma? Because there was a job change. What if you called your client and they were like, oh yeah, hey, well, how's work going? Oh, it's good, man. I actually, it's funny, we about 6 months ago, I got a job, moved over to Honeywell from Intel. I'm like, oh, so does that mean your Intel email isn't working anymore that I have? Cool, what's your new email? Did it come with a pay raise? Do you need a bigger house? These are all just conversations that could open up something else. Hey, what are you doing for fun these days? Are you going out to the open? Are you going to the bowl? Who's your team? Right? There's always something to talk about. Hey, I know it seems weird, but I'm planning trips for the summer. What are you doing? That's the dreams, right? So these are all easy conversations to have, but sometimes you need a framework for the call. So it's a lot easier, I just know. Or that's a great one for when you go to a networking group and you're like, hey, what brings you here? You know, so, some people are just naturally like, hey, what's up, man? How you been? How you doing? What brings you here today? And then other people are a little more introverted and need something like, hey, what brings you here? Cool, where are you originally from? That's awesome. Do you have any siblings? Like, I'm just going right into family. How do I get to family? And then, oh, cool, what do you do for a living? Oh, that's, how long have you been doing that? Wow, what got you into that deal? Cool. I'm always trying to find out, where do you live and do you rent and do you own? Because then that's, like, I know there's a deal in there somewhere, right? But I have to start with a framework, right? Like, I know where I'm going. There's an intention when I'm doing something. Okay. Now, here's where we get into more of the time management part of it. So Monday, you have a top 50 list of VIPs. Now, part of your Monday time block right now should be build my top 50 list. But imagine if you had a list of 50 people. Just imagine, 50 people. Couple CPAs, couple financial planners, maybe it's dude, I'll tell you right now, hairdressers and personal trainers know what is going on in so many people's lives before it even happens. Like, I was a trainer for 5 years at the Village and 8 years at a martial arts studio. So like 13 years. I get the scoop before there's a scoop. Like, before the divorce attorney finds out, I already know what's going on. They're well connected. They have a lot of people. Right now, obviously, I don't go to the hairstylist. But how many clients, Hannah, you go to a hair person? How many clients does she or he have?
A lot.
A lot. A lot. Do they have a stack of your business cards in their little drawer next to the curling iron?
No, she should though.
She should, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm always thinking like, man, how do I might just go start getting like shaved by somebody that I could just do myself, just because I know other people go there that have money that might need something real estate related at some point in time. And when that guy's striking up conversation, or a gal, then it comes up, I want them to think about me. So what if I was putting the hairstylist, barber, business owner that has 30 employees on my VIP list? And what if I called them every month? So if you call 12 every week, you're roughly going to hit your 50 every month, once a month. Hey man, how's it going? What's been happening? What's going on? Cool. Got any plans for Valentine's Day? Whatever. Like, there's a framework for your call, right? But what if they were also getting a little cupcake on their birthday? You literally stop by the salon with their favorite cupcake. Oh, I know you love crumble cookie. And then I bring them the crumble cookie sleeve. Or maybe they like fruit and I get them the edible arrangement, but I hand deliver it to them. And then throughout the day, people are like, oh my God, it's your birthday. Oh, who sent you that? Oh, my realtor. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking about buying a house. Who is it? Like, that's just how this stuff happens. But because you made them a VIP, but how easy is that? How long would it take you to call 12 people? Have an okay conversation or leave okay voicemails? Under an hour on a Monday. What else am I doing? Right? There's time. Tuesday, we call it Tuesday Update Day. So anybody that's in process right now, you've got their listing, you're calling them every Tuesday. Hey, quick update, here's what's going on, here's how many showings, here's how many didn't have. Hey, if we go another week with no showings, remember we're gonna have that price reduction talk, right? Cool. If you're having those kind of conversations, then when you call next Tuesday, you go, hey, it's time for the talk. They're like, I know, because you've been communicating. There's a system for it. Number one frustration that I ever hear from realtors for lenders is communication. I just didn't hear from them. They call me at the last minute. Okay, well, if I solve that problem, then it's not a problem when you work with me. then it's not a problem. Solve the problem. So I put a system in place. Hot leads, Wednesday, Thursday, like we said, your past client list, Friday, cold calls. Again, that you might not need to cold call, but maybe it's, well, I need some help building my Monday list. I need to go think of some businesses that I pay. Like, how many of you have a landscaper? Anyone have a landscaper? Landscaper? Cool. Does the landscaper send you deals? Pool guy? Pool guy sends you deals? Right? Like these are all people that you're paying every month. You literally open up your wallet every month going, here man, here's $100. Here's $300 for doing my leaves again. Okay, thanks for keeping my pool blue. Appreciate it. No, how about, hey man, how many routes do you have? How many pools do you service? Is there a way that we could, are you looking to grow your business? What if your guys on the route went and just hit the 2 neighbors of every house they service every day, and we make a little flyer with free CMA, financial digest, free refinance review, whatever. How many doors would they hit every month on your and their behalf? Win for them, win for me, right? Offer your current person a little discount. Maybe they get a free month of service for every person they refer you. Even better.
I actually own a pool company.
Sweet.
I've gotten about 5 listings from my pool company alone. Yes. And
love it.
We obviously, and then every realtor friend I have recommends our pool company for every house that has a pool. So making friends with your pool service company, whoever
it works.
Is very.
Yeah.
You know, I feel a little. Your pool guy is my pool guy. So
you might be missing out on some business.
Really good idea. I'm about to start putting my business cards in the guy's trucks.
Holly, we're going to start a pool company. A pool company. We're starting a pool and landscaping company. Mm-hmm. But think about it, like that's a thing, right? Obviously. But those people know a lot of people. Like, why am I racking my brain about the one-off being the person on the side of the road flipping a sign like, who wants to buy a house? Rather than like, hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee and sit down and see how I can refer you more business, Mr. CPA, Mr. Financial Planner, Mr. Pool Guy, Mr. Landscaper, Miss Hairdresser, like blow their business up. And what's going to happen? Dude, how do I repay you? How do I get referrals to you? You help me out so much. Teach them about marketing for their own business and they will happily send you deals. Okay, so that's literally the formula. And if you got to figure that's maybe 5 hours or less of work out of your 40, 50 hour work week just to stay in relationship, but also some growth, right? Because I'm going to grow my business if I have a really nice top 50 list. Because the criteria of the top 50 list, just to put it in perspective when I teach that class, is that they have the ability to refer you at least 2 closings per year. You're at 5, but if you averaged 2 minimum closings off of 50 people, that's 100 deals. What in your head, what's your average commission? Now add 2 zeros. That's how much you would have if that list performed, right? So if I spent even this entire, I don't know, 4 or 5 months like addicted to building that list, who do I know? Who can I put on there? Maybe it's even a past client that's a business owner that I'm like, man, I could get in and help him with his employees. He's got like 30. They got 50. They got 2,000. We got a contract with ADP. It took me 9 months to get in there. Finally got in, and now we're a preferred partner for ADP in their real estate program. We do a boatload out of there. But what's that worth? 9 months of work to now get 12, 15, 20 deals. I mean, now it's just mailbox money for me. With one person that I need to keep happy, Simon. Hey, Simon. And Simon gets a call from me every month. Hey, dude. He got a Christmas package. He's from England. He's got a cool English accent, and I found these cookies that are like at Target, but they're specially made from a company in England, and they have like they look like the double-decker bus and whatever. I sent them to him. He's like, dude, where did you find these? I can only get these in England. He's a VIP of mine. $19 for thousands of dollars of income, right? Like, think about it. So that's where my brain goes when I think about that Monday list. But look, again, 5 hours. Who can invest 5 hours? An hour a day. It's not, no one, just too tired. Okay, look at that. I get a hand. Okay. All right, let's continue, wrap it up. So when we talk about the visit, I do stuff like movie events. We did the pie giveaway. I know you've seen this. You've seen other agents. Anyone seen the agents doing the pie giveaway? Cool. So I send out a link. We make phone calls. We send out text messages because I want to give out as many as I can. But the power is always in the invite. So even if I gave one pie away, it's okay because there's still hundreds that got invited to pick up a pie. Now usually we're at like 50 to 80 pies. What we do is we set up a date that says, hey, before Friday you got to tell me, and then come on Tuesday to pick them up. Why? Because we make the Costco run on Monday. I need the list. I want to make sure I got it. We do apple and pumpkin. We go to Costco. We load up the SUVs and we bring them all to the office. We put their names. We put little bows on them, and then we wait for people to come. And it never fails. I got like 8 to 12 extra pies because people just don't show. Okay, I'm running late. But what happens when they're running late and can't make it, and I get like a half a dozen of those, I say, hey, what's a local bakery that's close to you that we can have you just go pick one up, and I'll call and pay for it right now. Because I want them to be a past client of mine forever.
I did that one year, and I had like 8 people that said they couldn't get there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, not a problem. And I just went from house to house to house.
That's so awesome.
I showed up, like, I think my last one was like 11 o'clock at night, but
wow.
they were like, wow.
But what does that say, right? Like, I am in a relationship-based business. I wanted you to have your pie, and I also know you're not going anywhere else. I'm not getting Zillowed. I'm not getting Realtor.com'd. They're coming back to me, period. Movies I love because it's easy to set up. So last one we did was in July. We did Black Widow. We also, didn't we do the, what was the,
Black Widow was 2 years ago.
Yeah, what was the one we did last year?
Jurassic.
No, with the dude that passed away. Yeah, the guy that passed away. Black Panther. Yeah, we did the Black Panther. So anyway, it doesn't matter. It's whatever's the hot movie. The movie theaters have what movies they're going to have for the rest of the year already. So if you call them and say, hey, I want to book a movie, what's the summer blockbuster coming out? And they'll tell you, you look down, you're like, oh, Finding Nemo 22? Okay, that sounds like a good family one. If you have a family clientele, that's one to book. If it's more adult, you're like, oh, it's, whatever. Like Top Gun, like that. Crazy. When we did the Star Wars, it was gone in 45 minutes. We set an Eventbrite, we set a limit for how many, because you only have so many in a theater, and just boom, capacity. We set a limit for 4 tickets per family, and if they have a 5th, they always call me, hey, I got 5 kids, or there's 5 of us, or whatever. I'm like, yeah, of course, we can add you in there. But what you don't do is leave it unlimited to where we had one year, like, lady put like 13. I'm like, you don't have 13. And they're like, oh, but the kids had friends, and I'm like, I can't take it back now. And I'm like, change it. And so that's where but that's again where you take your process and you're always it's like a living document. You're always trying to polish it up and refine it. So I'm just giving you some of the tips that we did. And any of the stuff you ever want to help on in events, that's like what we do.
For this type of event, do you send this out like email, social media? How do you?
No, yeah, email, not social media, because then I'm getting anybody, right? Email, phone call.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like we want to.
Also pay for like popcorn or concessions?
We do, yeah. So we get the little popcorn, the kid card that has the popcorn, gummy bear, drink, and then we give those out. And then we usually get popcorn ones that we're giving out to the adults, or I'll give the adults the kid ones. And what happens is we buy like a bulk batch of them, and then I've got them for like a couple movies because they don't expire. Yeah. Great question. We do extras. We'll do giveaways too. So one of the things that we did that we started 2 years ago, one of my students actually gave me the idea. He said, hey, I do a raffle, and the way to get in the raffle is to refer us a deal or do a review. So before the event, I think last time we got like 22 between reviews and leads, because that's how they get entered in the raffle. And then at the beginning, I raffled off like a flat screen TV, Ring doorbell, swag. Like I needed it to be really good. But I would do $500 in gifts of stuff to give away, because those reviews are gonna pay back way more than that. The leads itself will for sure pay for, one lead will pay for the theater and all my gifts, right? And again, the power's in the invite. So they all get invited, but it gets capped at how many can even come. So again, just an easy one. I've had people do, we have an agent that taught an events class last year for us. She does so many events, she has an events coordinator on her team, salaried events coordinator on her team. She rents out the country club and they do, the Disney character breakfast for her clients. She has in the parking lot of her brokerage, she has like a little petting zoo during Halloween, and they do like, candy giveaways and all that stuff for the kids, because she farms this, Scottsdale Ranch? Scottsdale Ranch, I mean, she's known there for her events. And it's just built up over time, but so much to that she's done, she literally taught a class on events. So I thought I was good at events, she crushes it.
Now, question, is that not against any, regulations, because it's a raffle type? Because
that's a good one to ask your broker.
Okay.
Because it's a raffle, I'm good on the lending side. I can't pay for leads. So if I said, hey, for every lead you send in, I'm going to give you $5. No. But if I give you a raffle ticket and you have a chance to lose, that's where I'm okay. On the lending side, I have no idea your rules. So that's always why you ask a broker. Okay, so that's the visit. Okay, the last one, email. So email, we talked about, email. Some people are just like, delete, that's junk. I don't want the recipe, whatever. I tell you this one right here. How many of you have HomeBot?
So good.
HomeBot, see, so good. I love testimonials. So it is so good. I probably get 2 to 3 inquiries on there a week. Should I sell, like the most common one right now is, should I sell my house? What's going on in my neighborhood? But for a while, especially during COVID, it was just raining money because people were like, I want to refinance, I want to refinance, I want to refinance. But from here, it's I want to buy another house, I want to invest in real estate, what's an Airbnb look like? I mean, it's very engaging. If you don't have it, just make a note to email me about HomeBot. I can send you the link. You can put 20, 25 people in there for free. If you want it, it's $25 a month for up to 500 contacts, but it's way worth it. I pay $200 for the same amount of contacts because there's so much more on my side, legislative-wise, that goes in there because of the rates and APR that goes in there, that they charge the lenders more money. But that's the highest open rate I've ever had. It's like 84%. And you can go, now that's 84% like month over month over month of thousands of people continuing to open it up. 84%. Not the initial was 84 and then it went to 22, 25, they don't really care. It's month over 80% open rate because people want to know about their asset. Could you imagine, some of you said you have financial planners, could you imagine your financial planner never sending you a statement? Ever. Hey, thanks for handling my $500,000. Could I get a statement? Could you tell me like how it's performing? How many of you have like E-Trade or Robinhood? E-Trade, anyone have E-Trade? Raise your hand. No? E-Trade, Robinhood? No? Yeah? Cool. Do you log in and check it? Yeah.
And it sends me.
And it sends you notifications too, right? Like that's a thing. So why would I want to help you buy one of your largest investments and not help you track? And I don't care if it's going down, up, I just want you to track it. Because most of the time it's going up. And most of the time when you want to do something, it's up. And I need you to know that, but I also want you to call me, not anybody else. And if they're always getting every single month something that tells them their value, where are they not going to find their value? Zillow. Google. Right. Zillow is the number one thing that will pop up if I go, what's my home worth, Google? And then what's going to happen? Boom, Zillow pops up first.
Because that's
Redfin.
so accurate.
So accurate. So what do? I force feed them HomeBot. At the closing, I tell them about it, they're going to get it. When they get the first one, I call them to make sure they got it. And then some of my follow-up calls, I can even say, hey, also, have you been on your anniversary call? Hey, have you been seeing your HomeBot? I actually went in and tweaked it because I just did a current CMA for you. It's in your inbox. I tweaked your HomeBot for you. How are you enjoying that? Did you know you can add other properties? Do you have any other properties? Did you know you can share that with friends and family too? So I have people share it to people I never did a loan with that then enter their house, that are then getting my information in their email every single month, all from that system. Now, before that came out, I was like, dude, you just got to email them something. Like email them a video, a market update, like those are all cool things. You can actually do that through HomeBot. You can record a video and you can put it in the digest. So it can be, hey, a quick market update. Hey, just so you know, we've seen locally inventory go from 21,000 to 16,000 in less than 90 days. It's probably because rates have come down a whole percentage point since the beginning of the year. But I don't know. But if you have any questions regarding real estate, let me know. Hope you're enjoying your HomeBot digest. That could be a video right now. And then you just upload it into HomeBot and it just goes out with your next round of digest that's sent out. Okay, so that's the email feature. We talked about the top 50 list, and I have a spreadsheet, so if you want that spreadsheet, just email me and I'll send you the spreadsheet. It's just literally an Excel that says all those things so that you know, when do I call them on their birthday? What are their kids like? What are they into? Like if they're Suns fans, can I send them like a $14, $15 Suns rally towel on their birthday? Yeah, it's an impactful gift. It's okay to send the Starbucks, the Cold Stone Creamery. It's okay. The heightened experience is go Suns. Hope you have an awesome birthday. Hope you get to a game soon. Maybe we'll see you in the playoffs. Whatever. It's something impactful because they're like, wow, Greg knows I'm a Suns fan. Or Eagles fan. Hey man, I know you're an Eagles fan. I saw this, NSC championship rally towel. Thought you'd like it. $20. That's going to go a long way for that Philly fan right now. So these are all part of the VIP program. Okay. Time management, this is how you get it all done. Because I know I went through a lot, but if we go back and replay it, you're gonna see it's a very simple system once you put it into place. Like literally 5 hours a week, you could knock that out. But having your printed schedule, I say prospecting log because if you, just like I go back to the training example, if you track how many contacts you make per day, calls, texts, messages, however, whatever you're doing for the communication, I guarantee you can predict your future. Meaning if you're going, yeah, yesterday I called like 5 people. I'm like, okay. But if you had called 15, what would your 90 days look like? Right? If I doubled whatever output I have right now, what would the next 90 days look like? Because everything for us is a good 90 plus days out. Right? So if you want a bigger paycheck in April, if my February was just stacked with phone calls, send out a little mailer, throw a client party, throw an appreciation, happy Valentine's, we love our clients event. Maybe it's just a we love our client raffle because you don't want to like put something on, it's too last minute, and you just give away a dinner for 2 at a nice restaurant. That's not a big investment. Yet I just got a whole bunch of publicity out to my entire database about that. And then maybe I plan a movie event in the summer. But that would be how I'm tracking my prospecting log, because I can tell you right now, that's how it would look. So my calendar is something like that, color coded. It's like everything's in there. Like right now, this for me is green time. Because what? I'm in front of a bunch of realtors that can send me business. So it's green time. Red time would be you're working your P&L, you're working your marketing program, you're writing out your checklist. That's like red time. I don't want a lot of red time in my calendar. I want green time. Green time, prospecting time, call my database. Going to tour homes is not green time unless there's someone in the car with you. But if you're going to preview homes, that's red time. So these are all things to think about as you build out your calendar, because again, if I structured the calendar with a ton of green time, made a ton of contacts, now I know that I'm going to generate more leads in the future. And if I just follow that how many, would you agree that this plan is very simple, what we're talking about today? Like nothing super complicated. It's just the time that you invest to put into it. But that time, that will go away once you set up the systems and processes, right? Once I put in the calendar, Thursday from 1 to 3, past client calls, recurring, color code, green, done. It's just there. And then I go back to if something pops up in that time, hey, I can only do that time when I drop the kids off at school, whatever, then you move it. Move it a little earlier, move it a little later, or move it to the next day or the previous day. It just doesn't get erased. It gets done that week. Or if at the end of the month, maybe it's the 15th of the month, it says pull the last 3 years of closings of the following month. And then you pull the closings. And then you mail merge them with your letter. You print them out. You get them in the mail. You send them out. And then on February 12th, it says call your database, anniversary calls. One time a month, you call the anniversary calls. Like it just, the setting it up is what needs to happen. But then once that happens, it's literally wake up, look at my calendar, that's what I'm doing today. There's obviously a lot of reaction in our business. Like we have to react. Phone rings, you leave here, you got to like go in and react to emails and text messages and stuff. I get it. You need a little proactive stuff that's hard coded in the calendar that can move a little bit, but it's never gone. That make sense? Okay.
So how much of this are you delegating to like an assistant, or because I'm wondering how you have the time to do all of these things and work all of your like files.
Yeah, so I don't work a lot of files. I have 2 team members that have been with me for 8 years that
You're
are.
getting the lead in the passing.
Yeah. So that's the biggest part. The other part is when it's stuff that's not like, pick the review, get that to the project center, pull the database, and send out that mailer. I do 0 with. So I have an admin that does that. I have to write the letter of the heart, pick the pictures, and do that. But then I don't do the mail merge, postage, figure that out with the mail center. Someone else does that. So there's an exercise where you can go through and just write down like all the things you did in a day. And at the end of the week, you can go back and go, which ones could I have hired somebody to do? Which one's less than my dollar per hour? Like, different class, but take your income from last year, divide it by 2,000, and there's roughly your dollar per hour. If it's a couple $100, why were you scanning that, ordering the signs, printing out a mailer, right? Like, why was I doing that? Because I could hire someone for $20 an hour to do that. Any of those things, and that's a lot of money. There's some kids that would do it for 10, 15, part-time, right? Like, I'm excited for my kids to get, like, they're 14. So once he gets into high school, I'll be like, dude, let's get some of your buddies and we'll start like doing door knocking and stuff. Flyer the neighborhood. I'll give you guys $20.
So
They'll happily do it.
Doing lead generation.
Mine's as much green time as possible.
The files. And then like what portions of it are you delegating out? So like you're making all the phone calls and you're doing like the text so that it's coming from your phone.
Yep.
You're hiring to do mailers and letters and that kind of stuff.
Yep. Like imagine if someone walked in to your office every morning. It was like, what was your name? Ashley. Hey, here's your calendar for today. And then here's your list of people that you need to call today. And here's the people with the birthdays that you need to do today. And here's the 3 cards that I need you to write today. And then they just walked out. Well, oh, did you want more water?
That's kind of
But I'd say that.
I have an assistant. I don't have anybody that works for me. I don't have a team. I'm a very busy agent, but I also have a house full of kids and a farm and 50 million places to also be. So.
Do you have chickens?
I have chickens.
Yes. Millionaire.
So, I mean, I have a busy life, and this is kind of part of where I lack, which is why I'm here today.
Yeah.
I'm really great with like meeting someone and closing at that point, but getting out in front of more people.
Yeah.
But I don't have enough time in the day to do all of the things that I currently do and then add this on top of it.
Correct. Yo, for sure.
I can't call people at 10 p.m.
No.
I can't call people up.
No, there's a great book, Fanatical Prospecting, where he talks about the golden hour. And he talks about, look, you can only make your calls during, this time.
When people are gonna actually answer
And then do your non-golden hour stuff afterwards. But then there's the family time, which is more like platinum time.
Up in 50 million sports.
Yeah,
that I'm not, and I've never been willing to give up that part, and I don't sacrifice that part.
I wouldn't give up that part.
So
I agree.
I can make calls while I'm like at a sports field for a practice or something.
Yeah.
Not at a
Not ideal.
Not on weekends.
Right.
Even open houses can be challenging because that's when tournaments and games and everything are. So I'm trying to figure out if this was me, what part of it I can delegate to someone else.
And that's the thing, right? So do you already use a transaction coordinator?
On like when I'm actively working a deal, yes.
Okay, cool. So that's an example of I'm delegating the back end of the process. Like, I don't want to do that stuff.
Like a huge majority of that myself. So like
But you shouldn't, right?
I mean, I always write the BINSR myself. I always write the contract myself.
Cool.
I'm not willing to give up that portion of it.
Yeah.
I'll sometimes have transaction coordinator do like some of the other forms, but I always upload it all, make sure it's all we're supposed to be.
Good.
That's more what I use it for.
Yeah, that's a form of delegation, right? So it's now a matter of like what we talked about today. What do I want to implement, and is there somebody that can do that for me, or is there a way that I could fit that in where it wouldn't take a ton of time? Mm-hmm. Like once I have my Excel spreadsheet with the people that I want to follow up with, and I go to Fiverr and I say, hey, I want one of these. Can you make me the template? And you probably pay them like $20. And then you'll have the template, and all you're doing is changing this out every single month. So in my calendar, literally when it was just me, it would pop up and say evidence of success. And I would go, oh, I need to go find one. And I would grab a review. And then I would email my marketing department, for you it'd be Fiverr. And I would say, hey, can you swap out this for that? And then they would send me the proof, and I'd go, looks good to me. And then I would save the PDF, and then I send that to the project center. I send them my Excel spreadsheet, and I'm done. So it's like, that's stuff I can do not during my golden hour of prospecting time.
But you have someone in your office that does all of that?
Yeah. But before, when it was only me, I had to do it all. And then it was, okay, let me make my lists of the stuff that I want to delegate so that when I have that person, I can do it. And what you're gonna find too is there are piecemeal things like that I can outsource. Like that's a Fiverr thing that I can do. So there's certain things that I can outsource. Other stuff, like the calls to your past clients, that's 100% you and me. I have to do that.
Yeah, it has to be you.
Yeah.
That's kind of I'm trying to decide, like, what if the things you're talking about are easily you can delegate or hire someone else to do.
Yep. Or that's easy to just start doing yourself, like the evidence of success. That would be an easy one. Like setting up your Google My Business, that's an easy one. Yeah. To set that up would be an easy one. And then picking off which ones are the one, like what I always think of in a scale of 1 to 10, what's going to impact my business the most, and which is the fastest that can be implemented. So if it's a 10 and a 10, that's a 20, that I'm going to do. If it's impacts my business a lot, like an 8, but to hire someone's probably like a 2, because it's going to take so much time, Indeed, interview, whatever. Okay, so that just became a 10. So do I do the 10 or do the 20? I do the 20, right? So it's an easy way to code your action items. Like I do a lot of conferences and stuff, and I'm like writing down like, oh, I want to do that, I want to do that. Well, then I go back and go, okay, which one's going to impact my business the most, and which one can I implement the fastest? And then I add them up. And then whichever one's the highest score, I start there and go down. And it's not something that you like, I'm just going to do these all within the next week. It's, hey, let me start this one. And then maybe in another month, I've done that, it's running. Now I'm going to look and see what I'm going to add next. A lot of this can be, like when I built out, I did the numbers off people that were pre-qualified that then went pre-qual to close. Right? They literally gave me all their documents, they're qualified, they're hot, they want to go shopping, and they're there, so they're a pre-qual. But then what percentage closed? And I was at like 60%. And you get normal fallout, you get, rates went up, I can't do anything, whatever. But I was like, man, if I could get that from 60 to 80, and that would give me about 5 more closings, that would give me about that much more money. Could I hire someone to do this entire list of things that I wanted to be done during that time? Like we send out a handwritten note that says, hey, enjoy a cup of coffee or treat on me while you're out house shopping. And then it's got a Starbucks gift card in there. Or Dunkin' Donuts, whichever one we're in the mood for giving that month. So that goes out to every pre-qual. They also get different videos. We send a video out that says, hey, let me show you how to accumulate wealth in real estate. That goes out. Like I have a whole, but I can't, for me to do it, it was a lot. So what I found was, well, if I can move that production up and convert a lot more, then I could hire someone for that spot that would more than pay for themselves. And that's actually how I got my admin, Talia.
And Greg, when I'm thinking about building businesses too, and all my businesses, there's a breaking point of variable cost versus fixed cost.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these items that you guys are going to be thinking about can be variable to your commission. You give them a percentage of your commission, whether that's an up-and-coming agent that's helping you do all those things, and you give them a percentage of every closing. Mm-hmm. And then eventually your variable cost gets too big, right? Because you're closing too big deals, and then you do what Greg's done, which is salary somebody or hourly pay. And so whatever that breaking point is, to me, in my mind, that's what I'm always thinking about as a business owner. is like, let me do a variable until it hits a certain point, and then you got to allocate
Right.
your salary.
Yep.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
that's a great point. Yeah, and again, that's kind of where you're going to get to, is how do I financially figure that piece out? But ultimately, it's not so much to do more business; it's more to work more efficiently so that I can have more family time, which will ultimately you're going to get more business from anyways. It's figuring out what are those different positions. We had a client we were consulting with yesterday on the showing assistant model, right? So how do you pay someone $50 a door, up to capped at 10 doors, $500 comes out of commission at closing. So they get paid no money, but to show doors.
I just find, I really like the relationship part.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to not at least get some of that. Yeah,
I get it.
Give that portion up. So
For sure.
I will do it if I'm too busy out of town,
Uh-huh.
but it's not my go-to.
Yeah, but what if it was your go-to? How much more hours would you have in your day?
I would have more hours, but I feel like you lose the relationship part of it.
Not if you established a solid relationship. Look, a relationship is impact,
How do you
not time.
establish the relationship?
Have you ever met somebody where you're like, wow, and like it was a quick 5-minute conversation with someone, you're like, whoa, and you're not going to forget that, right? It was an impact.
As long as you follow up with a call, I feel like you can make them like, hey, did you meet my person first off? How did you like them?
Mhm.
And how did you like the houses? Know exactly what they saw. So,
Yeah.
you were there, but you weren't there.
I mean, I get your point. What I'm saying is, what would it look like if you had that extra, 2-3 hours of taking someone to 4 or 5 projects? And again, you got to train the person. You've already done it, so you already bought into it, just not like, that's my go-to thing. Like, this is just part of my process. Like for me, it's just part of my process. I literally text someone this morning, hey, Larry's going to give you a call. I'm running over to teach class. He's awesome. That's it. And then I will call them after, hey, how'd it go? I'll get with Larry first, how'd it go? And then I'll call them. Hey, I got back with Larry. Here's what's going cool. I'm super excited for you. That's great. Would it be better if I was the one that took their name, social, date of birth? 100%. But is it that much worse that I didn't? No. And can I help more people or be with my family more hours? That's kind of what we're talking about. So the last one I'll leave you with is the accountability log. So this is something that I've had to turn into my coaches. Every 2 weeks on my coaching call, I turn in 2 of these forms. And it literally, I know you can't see it super good, but up here it says, how many face-to-faces did you have this week? And the goal is 15. How many break breads did you have? The goal is 5. Cup of coffee, smoothie, whatever. And this can be recruiting agents to your team. This could be interviewing your showing assistants. This could be meeting the CPA. And then here's all your great phone calls. So past clients, etc., looking to do 60 to 70 calls. Depends on, again, how much time do you have and how much do you want to grow your business. Once you go over 70 calls, you can't have that many face-to-faces. Now that can be showing homes, right? Took someone out, did a listing appointment, that's a face-to-face, right? I go down here, how many events did you either attend? Like today's an event that you attended. How many did you host? Maybe you held a wealth workshop or investing in real estate workshop or a 1031 exchange workshop. How many videos did you send out? Because videos keep that connection with people. Like 70% higher connection with people on videos versus phone call. That's crazy to me. Like they literally did studies of to people's brain that showed that them watching a video had the same impact on their brain as being face-to-face.
In the recent, I had a lender that we exchanged cards like a month ago before the holidays. And then after, he was like, I'll message you after the holidays. He sent me a video message. I had no idea. I didn't have the number saved. I didn't know the name. But then when I saw his face,
Saw the face.
Oh, yeah, I know him.
Yes.
It was actually it was really nice and friendly. And I still haven't sent out one, but it had an impact on me. So I think
See, it had an impact. So it would have, what would that be for your past clients?
And I met with that lender, which
Yeah.
I would never, you get the messages all the time.
Yeah,
And you just-
but the video stood out.
Video, I remembered who he was.
Yeah, so how many signs does your client go by when they're driving to their house? How many things do they see as I'm leaving the Suns game last night with 72 sold and Rocket Mortgage and people that have deeper pockets than me? Yet I send the video out to make an even bigger impact on my client because I know they're going by those billboards multiple times. They're getting hit up on ads. The second they even think about house, they're getting literally retargeted on their computers, just like you guys are. It's the same thing, right? But I have the advantage because I already have the relationship. I just have to keep the relationship. And then down here, you're tracking how many hours did you actually prospect? That's an eye opener. Like you think like, yeah, I do an 8-hour day and I probably prospect about all 8. Like, no, you probably don't. Let's track that and just see. And you're like, wow, I did 2 hours. Okay, and then how many thank you notes? So I'm big on the handwritten notes. It's just impactful. Just the handwritten note. Great talking to you today, great catching up, excited to hear about your kids, baseball tournament, tell them to knock it out of the park. Greg. Okay, and then how many leads did you get? There's your forecasting for the future. So again, I go back to in the beginning, how much money did you want to make? How much do you make per deal? How many deals is that? And then how many leads do you need to close that many deals? Well, if I need 20 leads, that means I need 5 a week. If you need 40, you need 10 a week. I just need to know the number. Like, what's the target? And when you roll into Friday and you're like, oh, I have 7, I needed 10. I'm not going to hit my goal. I need to do more next week. That's all. There's no shame in it. It's just stepping on the scale and going, I didn't lose the 2 pounds I wanted to this week. I shouldn't have ate the cookie. Or I should have walked another mile. Or whatever. I'll do it next week. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going to try that intermittent fasting thing. Whatever. Something's got to change or you get the same results. But the only way it can change is if you're tracking it with one of these forms. And then down the bottom it says listing agreements and buyer broker signed. That way again, I'm forecasting my future. This would be like me getting a lead and then me putting my pre-qualifications in here. How many people did I actually get pre-qualified? Because that's future closings. If they're just a lead, it's just someone that raised their hand. Once they're pre-qualified, they gave you all the documents, they're ready to go. That's a higher converting person for me. That's a better forecast for me. When I'm doing stuff for forecasting for my operations team, it's, well, how many did we pull credit and order appraisals on? Because that's an even further commitment to figure out the proper forecasting. Okay, so if I'll just send out the forms with the slide deck for you guys, so you have it. Just give me till this afternoon. And that's it. I'll send that link out too. It's just a form that asks like a survey of the class, and then also future topics that you would like, so that we can cater specifically to your needs. And then there's my Instagram for you to follow. I'll put that in the link as well. Are there any questions? Questions? Feedback? Yes?
Greg, in your coaching, it's, and I think, having a coach in your real estate business is an incredible thing. But
Yeah.
this is, and this was really awesome because it just spurs incredible creativity for the agents, even myself in the business owner. But talk a little bit about just the coaching piece that you do, and then what does the call look like for an agent that you're coaching, or a loan officer? What does that look like on kind of a macro level?
When what kind of call?
One of your coaching calls, your core coaching.
Oh yeah, okay. So the core coaching calls, there's different levels to the program. So I coach the highest level, which is level 3. They're an hour long. They put, and whether it's the lender or the realtor call, they put 3 people on the call that are of similar production, and they're all across the country. So most are in different markets, but they're at a similar level, team size, income, savings. And we'll start off the call going over those forms. We always start with the greatness tracker first, and we go over how'd you show up? How many did you do? What it got in the way? What's something we can do next week to fix that? That seems to be a common thing that's happening. What do we need to do? Maybe it's higher because they're just strapped. And they're like, nah, I just can't do that much because I'm caught in the weeds. Maybe it's they're not delegating to a TC, so they're getting caught back into the files and not able to prospect. So whatever it is. And then there's 2 calls a month. So the first call, we go over the money. So what's your personal budget? What's your P&L? So how much did you spend last month? How much did you make? Both household and business. So you all should do, does everyone do a P&L? P&L? Okay, so I would. Personal budget, for sure. Because again, I don't know, like Michael, myself, I mean, I can teach you how to grow your income, but if you grow your spending at the same time, it's kind of for nothing. You'll get a nice shiny award, but you won't have money in the bank. I got kids that go to college. Like, it's not, like the reward is my income and it growing somewhere. So it's not what you make, it's what you keep. So doing a budget, so that's the first call. Second call of the month is lead tracker and pay log. So lead tracker is, let's look at your leads. How many do you have? Where are they coming from? What is the conversion of each of the areas that you're pulling your leads from? Maybe we need to make more VIP calls. Maybe you need to redo your VIP list because you're not getting enough leads to get 2 deals a month or 2 deals a year from that referral source. Have you reached out to your CPA? Maybe you need another one. Have you called your pool company? So there may be some micro assignments in there for each of the students to do based on the results they're getting so far. And then pay log is how much you're closing right now, how much you're making on the deals. And that's the same whether it's lender or realtor. It's the same framework for every call. And then typically it's, okay, what can I help you with? What's a frustration in your business? That's the framework of the calls.
Yeah, and the reason why I ask that is because if you can't afford a coach, right? Or you need an accountability partner, a real estate broker, somebody in your sphere, in your business that can help you do those things. Because I think we all need it, just whatever level you're at.
Yeah. Well, it's the same. When I was a trainer and I was leaving, I said, look, the number one thing that you need to do with or without me is to have a journal of whatever you're doing, exercise and eating wise, if you want to keep maintaining or progressing in your workouts. It's no different than in your business. The number one thing of that whole thing is the greatness tracker, but the whole previous slide deck was how to fill the greatness tracker, right? So the tracker is how many calls, how many face-to-faces, but when you're like, well, who am I having face-to-faces with? Well, it's obviously it's your clients, but then it's the financial planner, the CPA, right? Maybe it's a friend in your sphere. Maybe it's someone in your phone that you're like, man, I haven't connected them in a while. I'm gonna go have a cup of coffee with them. I'm gonna invite them to have a coffee at the field because I know I'm gonna be there on Saturday from 10 to noon. Hey, I'm going to watch my kid do gymnastics, volleyball from 10 to noon. You gonna be around? Nah, I'm busy. Okay, I just wanted to meet up for coffee. No worries. What do you got going on? Even if I didn't connect with them to meet face to face, I at least connected with them and they knew I wanted to meet face to face. So there's a way I can adapt and move to, you know how many meetings I have out in Mesa at the Starbucks in the parking lot of the gymnastics school? My daughter goes 5 days a week, 5 hours a day. Competitive gymnastics. She's crazy. It's nuts. And we're in meet season. So what do I do on those Fridays that are at 3 o'clock? I'm like, hey, I'm done at 3 for sure, but I'm done at 2 so I can get there. And I cram my whole day in there. And then there's calls on the way to the event. When I'm picking her up at gymnastics, she's like, I'll probably be done between 6 and 6:30. I'm like, great, I'm gonna be there at 5 making phone calls in the parking lot or in Starbucks. Just text me when you're done. And I make an hour worth of calls, but the calls all come from my CRM or my spreadsheet. And I'm just sitting there with my greatness tracker on that clipboard going, here's who I talked to, here's who I talked to. Handwritten notes in my car, blank. Hey, great catching up with you. Super excited for that thing. Weave something in with the conversation. But again, for me, it's 9 years advantage of me doing all these processes and slowly adding them in. What I threw at you today was stuff that took me years to implement one thing at a time and go back and fix it, put that system in place, add that thing to it. It's an always evolving thing, but this is your business. We're not retiring tomorrow. Congratulations if you are. I'm glad you still came today. But you see all this, all these things we talked about today would help any business at all. It's all generating leads. That's all the businesses are. It's literally, we're a marketing company. How do I generate more leads for my business? Whether I'm the pool company, the landscaping company, the hairstylist, post more on Instagram, call your past clients, ask them if they're enjoying their hair. Do you like your color? What did your friends say about it? Awesome. Do you know anybody else that could use my services? Hey, how was the back adjustment? You walking straighter? Cool. The hip pain gone? Yeah, cool. Hey, do me a favor. If you see anyone doing this to their neck, would you tell them to call me? Would you send them my way? I'm looking to grow my business. Thanks. It's the check-in call that we're not doing to our entire past client database that I guarantee there's questions right now about real estate. How many saw the Goldman Sachs article the other day that said Phoenix was going to crash 25%? Yeah. How many calls did you get on that? I've had agents they're blowing up. They're sending the article. What do you think about that? What should I do? Because they're getting the fear media. That's what media does. Media doesn't go, hey, supply's down from 21 to 16. You better go buy a house right now. Right? Demand's high again. You saw Cromford? Anyone see the Cromford report lately? I mean, there's 2/3 is a seller market. of each of the cities in the valley. Do you think your clients know that? Probably not. Because they're seeing the media that says Chase is buying this, Goldman Sachs is crashing. Like, okay. It's the fear media. So these are all, I just look at it as that's our job. But the number one form out of all those is how to figure out the hack to filling out the greatness tracker. Look, we'll send out the slide deck. I'll send out all the information out to everybody. I appreciate y'all making time today. If anyone wants sandwiches to go, feel free, because we got plenty. Otherwise, I'll bring them to the office. Thanks, everybody.